Hi, everyone. This is Steve Delusant, and welcome to this week's edition of CEOs You Should Know. I am thrilled to be joined by Dan Casterella, the CEO of American Christmas. Dan, thanks for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Excited to have you and to learn more about you and more about American Christmas.
Yeah, it's we're in our peak season, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's jump right into it. I know that you spent over 20 years in the holiday decor industry and grown alongside American Christmas. What were some of those defining moments that helped shape that path to becoming CEO?
Yeah, I think there were a few steps in my career. A bunch of them revolved around sales, actually. But 3 or 4 years into working with the company, I started selling, and I had a client at the time. It was Talbot's, and that kind of put me into the sales world of American Christmas. And then it happened again, probably 5 years later, with Cartier when I landed that account. So every step I've grown, there's been a big sale that's happened around it.
That's awesome. And I know that probably throughout that journey, you've worked with every single part of the business. How did that hands-on experience help influence you along the way?
Yeah, we're a service provider. Yes, we sell product, but we're a service provider, and we, at the core, are a design firm. So understanding how things go together, how you assemble, how you install, is a big factor into selling and growing at our organization.
Nice. What originally drew you to the holiday decor world? Like, what has drew you there in the first place, and what's helped really keep that passion alive for all these years?
Yeah, it goes back to when I was a young kid. I used to decorate my house, and then in high school, I was decorating homes to make money. I was actually
awesome.
Cutting classes to make money decorating homes, and then I was in college, and I saw an opportunity at American Christmas and took it.
That's awesome. And I know that you have a love for product development and for creativity within the holiday decor space. How do you maintain that innovation while keeping those traditional clients happy with their Christmas decor?
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult thing because Christmas is tradition.
Absolutely.
So everyone goes back to their childhood in one way, shape, or form.
Of course.
And for us, yes, there's LED technology, but it's really just reviving what's been done over the years and making it fresh and giving it just a fresh take.
That's awesome. I know that part of like fostering creativity and ownership is also having your team, right? And allowing your team to be able to expand within multiple states and countries. How have you been able to kind of keep that innovation and creativity at the core of the company while maintaining such a large team?
Yeah, it's actually becoming more difficult as we get larger, and there's more people on the team involved in product creativity and product design. We have a committee, and it really funnels through a committee. And for me, I think not the more people in the committee, but the more people who come from different departments who have something to contribute is when we get the most value out of the committee.
That's awesome. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Obviously, Christmas is all about tradition and the nostalgia around the holiday. So with your team and with pushing that innovation, how do you continue to encourage them to have fresh ideas every single season?
Yeah, so there is buying trips that we send people on. There's inspiration trips. I actually have a staff member now in LA, and all they're doing is walking around, seeing decorations. So a lot of our stuff, but a lot of things we don't do, just to get ideas for the future. But our first big buying trip will happen in March of next year.
That's awesome. So I know that obviously the company is known for custom holiday displays. How do you envision America Christmas continuing to stand out from the competitive market space?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because it's Christmas, trees, wreaths, and garlands. I think it's the services we provide. We just recently launched an e-commerce brand. And, for us, it's not just about buying something online. We want to have that personal connection. We want to have someone on the phone with you to walk you through the sale. So I think yes, you can go buy Christmas decorations anywhere, but for us, we want the services to come with every sale.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're obviously here right now having the interview in New York, and I know, in my opinion, New York's kind of the epicenter for a lot of holiday traditions and holiday decorations. But I know that outside of here, you operate in 35 states. How, obviously, you being based in this market, be able to continue that customization to all those other 35 states with that one-to-one experiences?
Yeah, I think for me, it's been easy over the past 20 years to grow outside of New York, I should say. But it's becoming harder most recently as it becomes more expensive to travel, more expensive to ship. So what we're seeing is, we're seeing continued growth around the country, but we're also seeing it slow down a little bit just because of the costs to do business from afar. It's becoming harder to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking ahead, I know that right now we're in the midst of the holiday season, but what are you excited about the most for the future of American Christmas?
Yeah, we are getting ready to take down soon, but we also start our meetings now for 2026.
Wow.
And our first clients will confirm next week, right before Christmas. But we for 2026, I think we're going to take a pause and really just focus on how we run the business more efficiently.
Smart. So obviously lots of successes, but I'm sure along the way of your career and your time at American Christmas, there might have been some challenges. What were some of those biggest challenges you endured, and what were some of those factors that you learned from them?
Yeah, I think our challenges come around, I would say, like global situations, political situations, or quite frankly, mistakes we make at a client's location. And, if we're talking recently, the tariffs were a big challenge for us.
Sure.
98% of our stuff comes out of Southeast Asia. And, I think what I've learned out of all of this is that we need to adapt. We can't be so stuck in our ways. We need to adapt, and we need to be able to move quickly. And with the way technology is moving right now, I think moving quickly is going to become more common in our world and our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of tariffs, I know that you work with a lot of major supply changes, and I'm sure there's been complexity around the sourcing and the logistics around that. How are you guys able to handle that this year?
Yeah, I was actually in Asia when this first happened.
Oh, geez.
And for us, we had about 65% of our product sitting in Asia getting ready to ship.
Oh, my gosh.
And at that point, I thought I was going to have to burn a lot of bridges. And in the end, it's just smart decision making. We analyzed everything we had. We analyzed our cash flow. And we kind of made a strategic plan to get our commitment with our factories, all of that product into America, but we did it over 4.5 months.
That's awesome. I always love to ask this question for everybody that comes on the show. What advice would you give yourselves 20 years ago when you knew you wanted to be a CEO or an entrepreneur, just someone that might be tuning in that are just getting started?
Yeah, that's a good one. That one stumped me. My advice would definitely be to myself. My advice would be to pick up the phone sooner and take a chance. Don't be so taken back or so concerned about what could happen. Just do it.
That's good advice.
And I take that approach more now. And if I did it when I was younger, I'd probably be 10 years ahead of where I am today.
Stop hesitating, stop overthinking stuff, and just go for it.
Go for it.
It's great advice. So what's next for American Christmas? Any exciting developments or expansions you're allowed to tell us?
Yeah, I think for us, our focus is New York. We are here in New York. We love what we do in New York, and we'll continue to grow around the country. But our focus is going to be New York and inventory control, and really kind of adapting to an e-com platform where we see actually a lot of our clients now going to kind of get inspiration. So I think we need to be more in the digital forefront where we haven't been in the past.
Makes total sense. Well, we covered a lot, but if there's one thing that you feel like we missed that might be about the mission of American Christmas that you want our listeners to know, what would that be?
Yeah, I think we're Christmas all year long. We recognize revenue over the course of an 80-day span, essentially. But we are a seasonal company that has an operation 12 months a year. So, for us, it's more about how do we get better year over year and how do we improve. And we're coming at the point now where we see what we did really well this year and we see where we failed this year. Mm-hmm. But the good thing about our business is we get to step back in, 4 or 5 weeks and then kind of redirect and fix.
Absolutely. You get to reflect on how it went
Yes.
and evolve and be able to grow from there.
Yes. It's actually also the hardest part about the business, because any new employee won't understand the new process until they go through the entire 12 months.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because you can't really know it until you experience it and live and breathe it, right?
Yes.
Especially for this industry. That's awesome. Well, lastly, if there's one call to action for anyone that's tuning in that wants to learn more about American Christmas, what should they do?
Yeah, you could visit us at americanchristmas.com. And if you were really interested, just walk through New York City and see most of our decorations.
Is there one landmark you're most proud of this year?
There's not one, but if you want to see the most concentrated area of our work, it would be walking up Avenue of the Americas and Fifth Avenue.
Amazing. We'll definitely have to check that out.
Thank you.
Well, Dan, thanks for being here today. We appreciate you telling your story and for all of us to be able to learn more about American Christmas.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it. And thank you all for tuning in. Tune in next week for next week's edition of CEOs You Should Know.